Hopefully you're not melting away. But thank you for coming out tonight. We are so excited to have Hartland Community Band playing tonight for us. Later, after they clear the stage, we're going to have montage again. Both bands are from last year. Tomorrow, if you're up for it, we're going to have a 5K race at 8:30. It'll be, yes, in the heat. If you're interested in participating, you're not signed up. It starts over by the baseball diamond by Maple. Please feel free to stop by if you're interested in signing up. And on Saturday night, the Beer Garden is hosting another band, four-wheel drive. They will be playing from 7 to 9. Again, that's four-wheel drive playing tomorrow night right here by the Beer Garden from 7 to 9. And also, we can't forget our annual parade. Step-off is at 1:30. Again, our parade on Sunday will be at 1:30. Other than that, hope you guys have a good night. I hope you enjoy our fireworks, and let's play music.
Thank you. Please rise for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose but stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we walked was so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, came through the night, and that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome. As many of you know, we are the Hartland Community Band, and as always, we've got a great lineup of music for you this evening, including some concert pieces, a touch of Broadway, a bit from the silver screen, and of course, some marches. Our opening number tonight is Rise of the Firebird and was composed by Stephen Reinecke. Mr. Reinecke is a native of Ohio and has done quite a bit of work with the Cincinnati Pops Orchestra as its principal composer and arranger. Rise of the Firebird is a fanfare for winds and percussion named after the mythological bird who, after consuming itself by bursting into flames, rises from its ashes stronger and more powerful than before. So without further hesitation, let me introduce to you our director, Mr. Jack Schulze. And let's get on with the evening's program. Here is Stephen Reinecke's Rise of the Firebird.
Oh,
The 32nd Infantry Division was an Army National Guard division from Wisconsin and Michigan that received the reputation for their effectiveness and tenacity in combat during World War I and again in World War II. In World War I, they were the first division to pierce the German Hindenburg line of defense. The division adopted the Red Arrow shoulder patch and became known as the Red Arrow Division. Highway 32, which runs the length of the state of Wisconsin from Illinois to the Michigan borders, has been designated the 32nd Division Memorial Highway. The Red Arrow logo marks each one of the state Highway 32 standalone signs. It is the only state highway to include an image on its sign. One last note on this number, be sure to listen to the trio and you'll hear a little bit of On Wisconsin and Michigan, My Michigan. Now, dedicated to the Red Arrow Division, this is the 32nd Division March. Thank you. Our next selection, American Barn Dance, was commissioned and premiered for the 20th Annual Festival of Bands in Southern Indiana, with composer Richard Saucedo conducting. The festival was created as a fun, non-competitive event for small bands to experience a large band setting and to have exposure to various professional conductors. This piece is a typical barn dance with fun and frivolity at both ends, surrounding a lyrical passage in the middle. So don't mind us while we have a little good old-fashioned musical fun. Here is Richard Saucedo's American Barn Dance. Well, call me Lumiere. Now, if you will permit, I would like to tell you a story that happened many years ago when I was much younger and thinner. My friend Cogsworth and I were minding an enchanted castle. The young prince who lived there was turned into a beast when he refused to offer shelter for the night to an enchantress disguised as a beggar. On top of that, the rest of us were turned into household objects. Myself a candlestick, and Cogsworth a wall clock. You should have seen how funny he looked. Now, move forward 10 years, and Belle's father Maurice also came to the castle looking for shelter. This time the beast offered no sympathy and locked him up. He had to learn to love others, and I'm afraid it was looking like it would never happen. But then, there was a girl in the castle. Could she be the one to break the spell? I guess you would know the story as Beauty and the Beast, but, well, how about if you and I just tell the story together? It would be much better that way, yes? Okay. It went something like this. Little town, it's a quiet village. Every day like the one before.
Little town full of little people
Waking up to say bonjour,
Bonjour!
bonjour.
Bonjour! There goes the baker with his tray, like always. The same old rolls and bread to sell. Every morning just the same, since the morning that we came
To this poor provincial town. Look, there she goes, that girl is strange, no question. Dazed and distracted, can't you tell? Never part of any crowd, cause her head's up on some cloud. No denying she's a funny girl, that Belle. Bonjour,
Good day!
how is your family?
Bonjour!
Good day.
How is your wife?
I need 6 eggs, that's too expensive.
There must be more than this provincial life. Tale as old as time, true as it can be. Barely even friends that somebody bears unexpectedly. Just a little change,
Just a little change.
small to say the least, both a little scared, neither one prepared. Beauty and the Beast, ever just the same, never a surprise, ever as before, and ever just as sure as the sun will rise.
Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. No one's slick as Gaston, no one's quick as Gaston, no one's neck's as incredibly thick as Gaston.
Oh, there's no man in town half as manly, a perfect, a pure paragon.
You can ask any Tom, Dick, or Stanley, and they'll tell you whose team they prefer to be on. No one's been like Gaston, a kingpin like Gaston.
No one's got a swell cleft in his chin like Gaston.
As a specimen, yes, I'm intimidating.
My, what a guy! That Gaston! There's kind, but he was mean and he was coarse and unrefined. But now he's dear and so unsure. I wondered why I didn't see it there before.
Ma chère mademoiselle, it is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that we welcome you tonight. And now we invite you to relax. Let us pull up a chair as the dining room presents your dinner. Be our guest, put our service to the test. Tie a napkin round your neck, cherie, and we'll provide the rest. Soup du jour, hot hors d'oeuvre, while we only live to serve. Try the gray stuff, it's delicious. Don't believe me? Ask the dishes. They can sing, they can dance. After all, Mrs. Friends. And the dinner here is never second best. Go on and fold your menu, take a glance, and then you'll be our guest.
Be our guest,
Be our guest. Course by course, one by one, till you shout it up, I'm done.
And we'll sing you off to sleep as you digest.
Tonight you'll prop your feet up, but for now
Let's eat up.
be our guest.
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 Be our guest. Thank you.
I told you there was a girl in the castle.
I would just like to say something about that last piece that we did. We like to bring as many vocals as we can into our concert repertoire, and there just isn't enough vocals out there written for concert band. This last piece that we played, Beauty and the Beast, was written by Calvin Custer, or arranged by Calvin Custer in any case, for a concert band. There was no vocal part arranged for this song. I gave the recording to these two people over here and said, what can you do with this? And they came up with that entire vocal part. So I think they deserve a big round of applause.
Thank you. All right, our next number was written for the 1960 Olympic Games and is simply titled March of the Olympians. The Games of the 17th Olympiad were held in Rome, Italy from the 25th of August through September 11th of 1960. The city of Rome was previously set to hold the 1908 Olympics, but when Mount Vesuvius erupted in 1906, they were forced to pass the honor to London. Of note in these games, you might remember, the U.S. men's national basketball team, then led by future Hall of Famers Walt Bellamy, Jerry Lucas, Jerry West, and Oscar Robertson, captured its fifth straight gold medal. And a guy named Cassius Clay, later known as Muhammad Ali, won the light heavyweight boxing gold medal. So let's go back to the Olympic Stadium in Rome for the opening ceremonies. Composed by Tommy Walker and Robert Lynn and arranged by Jay Bocock, this is March of the Olympians. Thank you. The Cajuns are descendants of the Acadians, a group of early French colonists who began settling in what is now Nova Scotia around 1604. In 1755, they were driven out by the British and eventually settled in the south of Louisiana. Today, there are nearly 1 million French-speaking descendants of the Acadians living in Louisiana and parts of Texas, preserving many of the customs, traditions, stories, and songs of their ancestors. And although a rich Cajun folk song tradition still exists, many of the original folk songs have become commercialized and Americanized over the years. Composer Frank Tekeli has captured the essence of 2 of these folk songs in a piece simply titled Cajun Folk Songs. The piece has 2 sections, La Belle et le Capitaine, which tells the story of a young girl who feigns death to avoid being seduced by a captain, and the second, just titled Belle, which is about a man who travels to Texas only to receive word of his sweetheart's illness, forcing him to return to Louisiana. Cajun Folk Songs is composed as a tribute to the people of the old Cajun folk song culture, with hopes that their contributions will not be forgotten. Here is Frank Tekeli's Cajun Folk Songs. The narration for our next piece, Duty, Honor, Country, was adapted from an address by then General of the Army Douglas MacArthur to the U.S. Military Academy Corps of Cadets at West Point on May 12th of 1962. As with many of General MacArthur's speeches, this is a stirring narration that has inspired all who have heard it. Harold L. Walters composed the music, and this piece was originally copyrighted in 1967. In 2006, Duty, Honor, Country was recorded by General Norman Schwarzkopf together with the U.S. Army Field Band. In honor of all of those who make up our armed forces, past and present, this is Duty, Honor, Country. Duty, honor, country. A code of conduct and chivalry of those who guard this beloved land. An ideal so noble that it arouses a sense of pride and yet humility. An expression of the ethics of the American man at arms. Duty, honor, country. These three words build courage when courage seems to fail. Regain faith when there seems to be little cause for faith. Create hope when hope seems forlorn. The American man-at-arms, above all other people, prays for peace, for he must suffer and bear the deepest wounds and scars of war. Duty, honor, country. The unbelievers will say they are but words, a slogan, or a flamboyant phrase. Every demagogue, every cynic, and every hypocrite will try to downgrade them to the extent of mockery and ridicule. The code which these words perpetuate embraces the highest moral law and will stand the test of any ethics or philosophies ever published for the uplift of mankind. Around 1,000 campfires, on 100 battlefields, listening for the witching melody of faint bugles blowing reveille. Far-off drums beating the long roll. This is the story of the American man-at-arms. His name and fame are the birthright of every American citizen. In his youth and strength, his love and loyalty, he gave all that mortality can give. He has never failed us. Were he to do so, a million ghosts in olive drab, in brown khaki, in blue and gray, would rise from their white crosses, thundering those magic words: duty, honor, country. Thank you. Alton Glenn Miller was born on March 1st of 1904 and was recorded missing on December 15th of 1944. He was an American jazz musician, arranger, composer, and band leader in the swing era. While traveling to entertain U.S. troops in France during World War II, Miller's plane disappeared in bad weather over the English Channel. We are fortunate he left us with so much great music for us to enjoy. Our next selection is a compilation of some of the most popular Glenn Miller tunes, including In the Mood, Tuxedo Junction, A String of Pearls, Little Brown Jug, and Pennsylvania 6-5000. Miller's music is regularly performed by school jazz and concert bands, keeping our musical heritage alive. See how many of these melodies you recognize as the band plays a Paul Murtha arrangement entitled Glenn Miller in Concert. We'll need just a minute before we get started with that.
There's the man.
You do it.
There's
All right, our next number is a jazz ballad titled Persuasion, composed by Sammy Nestico. Now, Sammy started his professional career at the age of 17 when he became a staff arranger for ABC radio station WCAE in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Over the years, he also arranged music for the Count Basie Orchestra, the U.S. Air Force, and Marine bands. Nestico also played trombones in the big bands of Tommy Dorsey, Woody Herman, Gene Krupa, and Charlie Barnett. For this piece, we're going to feature our saxophone player, Mr. Bob Beyer. Bob started playing saxophone at the age of 10 and has been playing professionally since 1967. He has performed with, now get this list of artists, Bob Hope, Tony Bennett, Crystal Gale, Glenn Campbell, and Donna Summer, just to name a few. Dennis Day, if any of you remember him. Bob is also a veteran with 5 years as a musician in the Navy, 10 years in the Army with the 84th Division Band, and 14 years in the Army National Guard with the 132nd Division Band. He currently plays with 2 big bands and has a small combo as well. Now here he is, Mr. Bob Beyer on the alto sax and the band with Sammy Nestico's Persuasion. All right, just a quick announcement. So listen up. If you, by chance, have your car parked on the grass over there, the ladies and gentlemen in the law enforcement agency would like for you to move your car so that it does not get cited. So we'll give you a chance to get your car moved. If it's parked on the grass, please move it. Thank you. All right, now, for those of you who are staying, how many of you remember the Monkees? Eh? They were actually a fictional band put together to create a comedy TV series. And if you listen closely to some of their songs, you'll hear a very familiar style. In particular, I'm speaking of the songs I'm a Believer, A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You, Look Out, Here Comes Tomorrow, and Love to Love. Now, these were all performed by the Monkees, but they were all written by a Brooklyn-born young man who sang in the freshman high school chorus and choral club alongside his classmate Barbra Streisand. It was on his 16th birthday that Neil Diamond received the guitar. And Diamond soon after met Pete Seeger at a summer camp he attended and was inspired to write his own poetry and put it to music. With 38 songs in the top 10 Billboard adult contemporary charts, Neil Diamond is one of the best-selling pop artists of all time. Here is a medley of 5 of his tunes featuring America, Sweet Caroline, You Don't Bring Me Flowers, Cherry Cherry, and I'm a Believer. It's titled Pop and Rock Legends, Neil Diamond. And if you feel like singing, please do. All right, next we have a majestic march composed by Jay Chataway to commemorate Operation Sail. On July 4th of 1976, as part of America's bicentennial celebration, New York Harbor hosted the largest gathering ever of tall ships. The gathering was called Operation Sail. To commemorate this occasion, Chataway wrote Parade of the Tall Ships. Chataway dedicated this march to Commander Ned Muffley of the United States Navy Band, who premiered the piece as part of Operation Sail activities. Join with us now on a majestic musical sailing journey. Here is Parade of the Tall Ships. Oh yeah, we get 4,000 horsepower added as a bonus. Thank you. We are going to bring our leading lady, Jean Wenzel, back out for our next number, which is taken from the 2017 motion picture, The Greatest Showman. The Greatest Showman was directed by Michael Gracie and starred Hugh Jackman, Zac Efron, Michelle Williams, Rebecca Ferguson, and Zendaya. The film was inspired by the story of P.T. Barnum's creation of the Barnum and Bailey Circus called The Greatest Show on Earth, and the lives actually of its star attractions. The song This Is Me is from the film, won a Golden Globe Award for Best Original Song, and was nominated for Academy Award for Best Original Song. So here now is Jean Wenzel with a song from The Greatest Showman titled This Is Me.
This is about as close as we could get to the actual song without the beard.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. Have learned to live ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, 'cause no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest word's gonna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. And I know that I deserve your love, 'cause there's nothing I'm not worthy of. When the sharpest word's gonna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. So now you guys know that every once in a while I get lucky enough to maybe sing a couple of notes with her. She is fantastic. Have you ever noticed that most of the beautiful songs ever written are slow songs? Maybe it's because in life we often find beauty in simplicity, and when we do find that beauty, we want to take the time to enjoy and appreciate it. Shenandoah is an American folk song which embodies that beauty in its simplicity. Of this particular arrangement, composer-arranger Frank Tichelli says he was, quote, inspired by the freedom and the beauty of the folk melody and by the natural images evoked by the words, end quote. The origins of the folk song are varied, but all date to the 19th century. Some say the song was written by a coal miner in Pennsylvania, some credit it a young protege of Stephen Foster, and others claim it was a housewife in Lexington, Kentucky that penned the song. We may never know who wrote it, but there's no disputing it is one of our treasured folk songs. Here is Shenandoah. All right, we got time for one more here. How would you like a march? All right. They said yes with thundering applause. Let me tell you a little bit about the United States Marines. The U.S. Marine Corps was founded on the 10th of November, 1775, and they are responsible for conducting amphibious operations along with the United States Navy. Now, the Marines operate installations on land and aboard seagoing amphibious warships all around the world. In addition, several of the Marines' tactical aviation squadrons are also embedded in the Naval Carrier Air Wings and operate from the aircraft carriers. The Marine Corps' motto has always been Semper Fidelis, which is Latin for always faithful. In the late 1800s, at the request of then-President Chester Arthur, John Philip Sousa wrote the march that became known as the official march of the United States Marines. Sousa had been the director of the band known as the President's Own since 1880, and in 1888, he wrote Semper Fidelis. And now we tip our hats and salute one of the greatest and most loyal fighting forces on earth. Here is the official march of the USMC, Semper Fidelis. All right, it's warm outside, but you guys up for one more march? You are. All right, good. All right, so that does bring us to the close of this evening's concert. But on behalf of all of us in the Hartland Community Band, we sincerely hope that you have enjoyed the music as much as we have enjoyed sharing it with you. Now, before we go, we'd like to share a couple of our summer dates and other concert dates with you. So on Thursday, August 2nd, at 7 p.m., we will be right back here for a concert. On Sunday, August 5th, we will be in downtown Milwaukee at the Peck Pavilion. That concert is on a Sunday. That is 2 o'clock. And then on Wednesday, August 22nd, at 7:30 p.m., we will be at the City Beach Band Shell in Oconomowoc. And if you're thinking, gee, I wish it was cooler outside, Just hang on, and on Sunday, December 2nd at 3 p.m., we will be doing our Christmas program in the Upper Church at Holy Hill. So for more information about the band, upcoming concert dates, look us up on Facebook or visit us on the web at heartlandcommunityband.com. So, it has been the tradition for a long, long time that a summer concert isn't complete without a grand march, and we have the grandest of them all. Here it is, the Stars and Stripes Forever. Thank you so much for hanging around. We are going to get out of the way as soon as we can. Don't go away. Montage is coming up next.